Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You're Allah's chosen one, the chosen one to spread the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The chosen one, though the road is long, just know Allah won't let you lose your way. You are the mercy for mankind. You are the teacher for this life. Allah has blessed you with the Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome our dear audience to Muhammad the Leader alayhi salatu wassalam. Today we'll be talking in our episode about consistency and constancy. I'm still honored and joined by Dr. Mamdouh, a former professor at Johns Hopkins University in the US. Dr. Mamdouh, welcome.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome as well. The honor is mine.
Thank you so much. So, Dr. Mamdouh, as we discussed in the previous episodes, we were going deeper and we're trying together to learn about Prophet Muhammad's life and from very different aspects. And as we said, and we are still learning about really a unique person.
Yes. As we mentioned, some other qualities of leadership that are consistent in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the right of the audience to get more and more knowledge about this topic.
Right.
And I wish that when the audience even know the time of the episode, they would bring their pens and pencils and they take notes, because this is how you document knowledge.
Yeah.
As the Prophet ﷺ himself said, document knowledge by writing. So writing is a very important quality, yes, that people would use to document the knowledge, because otherwise knowledge would run away, would get into one ear and get out.
And also spreading the word. I mean, they may bring their kids,
absolutely,
their wives, husbands, family members, telling people, their colleagues at work, they can tell them more, especially those people who are not completely aware of Prophet Muhammad's life.
And more importantly, that they would work on that and make research. If they found 7 or 8 or 10 points about the Prophet ﷺ, they can develop it, and it can, after making thorough research, they may reach 20 qualities or 200 qualities. It depends on the quality and the intensity of their work.
Right.
And in fact, this title is called Consistency and Constancy.
Here comes my question. What's the difference?
And really there's a story behind this chapter. One of the CEO of McDonald's, everybody knows McDonald's.
Yes.
He was questioned in an interview, what are the most important qualities of McDonald's? What makes McDonald's famous everywhere in the world? What makes it successful in the area of, business? And he said, he abbreviated these 2 words in these initials. He said CC. First C stands for consistency, and the second C, he said that it stands for constancy. And I made some little research here and there, and I found these 2 things, right, are available in Islam, and you will find them in the Holy Quran, you will find them in the behavior of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Consistency refers to doing the thing in a perfect manner, and you repeat it in a perfect manner, and every time you do it exactly as you did it the first time.
No less, no more.
For example, he gave the example, you go to any McDonald's, you will find that he wrote at the door the times and the hours of work. For example, 7 a.m. until 11 a.m. 7 a.m. you go to any McDonald's, you will find it is open. You will never find it late 5 minutes. And the same thing when it closes.
And this
And in
applies
everything, this applies to all the branches of. So this
not
is
just the timing, like everything.
this is the consistency. Even the color of the paper that you use, even everything, even the decor inside the shop, the McDonald's shop, you'll find it similar. And he said that this is one of the secrets of when you do something consistently, yes. And this is exactly what we are targeting. To lead the people, you want to change them from X negative to X positive, and they do this consistently every day. They get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to pray Salat al-Fajr. Every day, they never miss a day. So this is consistency. Regarding constancy, you do it continuously. And this is represented in one of the verses in the Quran, وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Worship your Lord until certainty, until death comes to you. It means constantly you do it. Don't do it 2 days and miss 1 day, don't do. These are the two words that are the source of success. And I found that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is focusing on this. The best deed, the most beloved, he said, the most beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the one which are consistent, even if they are small. In another hadith, the ones that are consistent deeds and small deeds that are done consistently, they are much better than grand deeds that are done inconsistently. You can see the significance. If this CEO of McDonald's spoke about this issue 20 years ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in the Holy Quran more than 1400 years ago. And this definitely tells us something about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Lord of this universe knows how it is run, and where is the side of the success in it, and where the failure is. And the Prophet Muhammad stressed this point among the companions. And he was himself the living example of consistency and constancy. He is the leader of the country, and he is the leader of the army. And he has many tasks, yet you find him the first one in the mosque. He is leading the people in the prayer every day. In every prayer, does the same.
So all these people you were talking about, they to be able to follow Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, they needed to trust him.
Absolutely.
And of course, he's the most trustworthy person on earth.
In fact, he was labeled by this title, Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. So even before he was a messenger, which tells us it is something, it can be developed in any person, particularly for those who are planning to be leaders.
So this will lead us to the leader's point. Now, how leaders can earn trust?
Oh yeah, very good. It's not something, first of all, it requires time, and it's not something to be bought, even if you own all the media in the world, and all the media try to label you as a trustworthy, this will not be known. But this had been developed because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was known before he was a messenger of Allah. He was known among the people, among the tribes of Mecca. So you need to have a very good history. And here is the role of the parents to teach you good things, good habits, as early as possible, because this will add up to you when you grow up. You just need, when you are young, to listen to your parents, and the parents should be very positive in bringing you up. But this way, you get a title, you get a name. Yeah. Each one of us has something to be proud of, and this is one of the qualities. He was known among the Arabs, even when they fight each other, who is going to help them solve the problem of the black stone. All of us know the story of the black stone, and who is going to put the black stone in the Kaaba, the most sacred thing in Mecca. And all the people, when they saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from different tribes, and usually the people from different tribes have kind of animosity among them. But when they saw Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam coming, and they said Al-Amin, they called him, they didn't call his name, they used his title, Al-Amin, the trustworthy, and all of them were pleased and satisfied, and he was still a young person at that time, perhaps 14 years old or around that age. Yet he was selected to be the one, the problem solver, and we'll talk about this when we talk about the quality of leadership.
So, now, Prophet Muhammad sets the best example for his followers. Would you please elaborate his role model for his followers? Now, we know that, of course, he was a living role model for them.
Yes.
All of his followers. I want you to tell me, elaborate more about this point.
Yeah, he was a living, and he was doing things in front of them. And when you see things by your eye, you are very much affected, as the psychologist scholars say, that when you see something more than 70 times, you will never forget it, or this will never be erased from you. So they saw him every day doing the prayer 5 times a day, punctually, and every time they notice one of his qualities is repeated consistently with the same quality, which almost like, it looks like perfection. So now, the people would raise this question. They would say that the companions saw the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ doing this, but we did not saw the Prophet ﷺ. And this is something good. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected the Quran and protected the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ by saying that Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. That Allah protected the dhikr, all the types of dhikr, which is Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. By having this protected, that means that we are doing what we read about the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at his statement when he said that "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli," pray as you have seen me pray. In other words, none of us have seen the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ praying, but we have the well-documented traditions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mentioned by those who observed and who have seen Prophet Muhammad ﷺ doing it, and we are imitating them based on what they have seen, not what they have heard.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why it is very important for every Muslim to go directly to the Sunnah and see what the Prophet ﷺ had done.
All right, so we'll take a short break at this point, and then we come back to continue talking about consistency and constancy.
Inshallah.
Stay with us, our dear audience, after the short break, and we come back.
Oh, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
I was wondering, can I ask you a question?
Be my guest.
Can I make ijtihad on my own? Is takfir an Islamic concept? Are Salafis a sect? Do I have to give da'wah to people? And is interfaith dialogue haram?
Akhi, this is not one question. These are important topics and issues that require we sit and discuss them, inshallah, thoroughly.
Actually, why don't you guys join us for these discussions on contemporary Islamic issues and concepts?
Oh, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Welcome back, our dear audience, after the short break, and we are still talking about Muhammad the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The chapter, let me remind you, we're talking about is related to consistency and constancy. Dr. Mamdouh, my question for you now is, I'd like you to tell us an example that shows how Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, as mentioned in the chapter, maintained consistent relations with his companions, treating even the newest entrant into Islam with the same love and affection as more senior Muslims.
one quality of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he has the ability to make every one of the companions feel so special to him. So when you sit with the Prophet ﷺ for a few minutes or quarter an hour or whatever time you spent with the Prophet ﷺ, you would get this impression that you are so special, the way he treats you. So the way he treats Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu and Umar ibn al-Khattab and those great scholars is the same way that he treats even the unknown scholars, the people who are not famous among the scholars. The way he dealt with them, he made each one of them feel that he is so special to the Prophet. And he maintained this. On every occasion, he was so courteous to deal with the companions in a way that they love him more and more and more. It's not once and forever. Rather, it's consistently done with them. Therefore, they had this feeling and they had this love for the Prophet ﷺ, and they tried to imitate him to the degree that if they find that the Prophet ﷺ, this is unbuttoned, they would unbutton their shirts and pray as they saw the Prophet ﷺ doing this. Everything that he did, they tried to imitate him. The Prophet ﷺ, we know that he used to sleep on the right arm, to put his right arm under his head and to sleep into the direction of the Qibla. The companions used to do this. Even they used to imitate him while he was doing this after Salat Subh. He used to pray the Sunnah and take some rest, doing like this until the time of Salat al-Fard of Subh comes. So they used to imitate him in everything. That this comes out of what? Out of love. And love is developed between them and the Prophet Muhammad through these beautiful systems. He, all the time, his face is always smiling. I've never seen a leader who is always smiling all the time. And this is one of the rules, by the way. A leader should all the time be consistent in showing in wearing a big smile on his face, because this opens the door for people to be motivated, to encourage them to ask questions, to encourage them to, and he would never let one of those feel afraid of him. And the Prophet ﷺ said one time some person came to him and he was reluctant to come and ask him. And the Prophet ﷺ told him that, why are you hesitant? I am a son of a woman who used to eat hard bread. Meaning that I am a very normal person, even less than normal in terms of being rich. So why are you so scared? People used to approach Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the way even he used to play with his grandchildren, encouraged them to come close to him. And he is the example, and I think this is something missing in the question, and I hope you focus on it in every topic, because the dimension of having mercy is something very important in the life of the Prophet ﷺ, to stress or to elaborate on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that we have sent you only to be a mercy for all mankind. And this was quality of the Prophet ﷺ. Just to show you this in a very famous example, example of a hateful neighbor of a Prophet. There was a neighbor of the Prophet Muhammad, very noisy, very troublemaker, and he used to cause many problems to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. The way he used to do it, he used to put the garbage. He takes his own garbage and he puts it in front of the main door of the house of the Prophet Muhammad. Not one day, not 2 days, consistently he would do this. And the Prophet ﷺ would not get angry, would not try to take it seriously that he made it intentionally. The Prophet ﷺ had his heart very clean, and he would never have ill feelings about others. Rather, he would go ahead and take the garbage and removes it from in front of his house and puts it in the right place. day after day, day after day, day after day, and every day the mercy of the Prophet ﷺ prevented him from being inconsistent. He was always consistent in doing this, and this proved that he is consistent in his patience with other people. Until after a week or so, the Prophet ﷺ said that he may be sick. So he was serious, and he knocked at the door, and the man opened the door, and he said that I did this. Now I realize that you are a messenger of Allah. And this was a cause for a person to be a Muslim.
To convert, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I see. All right, so Dr. Mamdouh, as we are reading into the chapter, we know that one of the biggest challenges faced by a leader nowadays is being consistent in everything with his or her team.
Yes.
I mean, consistent in the feedback, consistent in the way of dealing with them, even in tangible things. Being kind to them every day. I think it's kind of a challenge during this stressful life.
Absolutely. It's a very difficult task. It's not easy. And this tells us that this is a sign that he is a messenger of Allah. Because this is not an average or even above average human being. Rather, this is a quality of a messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is in itself is a witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a messenger. Yeah.
Right. So, what the today's leader could do to be a better consistent person, to work in consistency and constancy together, to be able to keep up with their families, their team members, their nations.
This is my own suggestion.
Sure.
But I got it, of course, from the Islamic history. I think we can, companions of the Prophet ﷺ, we can imitate Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. What he did a very good technique. And I think this is a very useful technique for all the leaders. He hired someone from his own pocket money.
Okay.
And he used to pay him based on this guy. He would tell him what are the things to observe what he is doing every day, and to notify and to inform him about what he was doing incorrectly. Right.
That must be a really skillful person.
Definitely, yes. This is the suggestion of Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, one of the high quality followers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And I think if every leader would do this, would appoint one person, directly or indirectly, to be responsible for observing his behavior all the day, and to see how consistent he is in that day itself and in other days as well. And whenever he sees a flaw here or there, right, he would notify him and he would inform him, and in this way he becomes more aware. I remember that you mentioned this thing. We need to be more aware of ourselves. And this technique can help the leaders to develop themselves. It is doable. This is one way, and there may be other ways, but it is doable.
It is, of course. Okay, so now moving on to another point. Sometimes me as a leader, I really want to care as of being consistent in everything I do, and even the quality, the example you've mentioned of the CEO of this big company, for example. I might some days face challenges that might be caused by other people for not keeping this consistency happening.
Yeah. Nowadays, it seems to me theoretically that it's easier done. The annual plan or agenda that you have and you document every day. Today I have to do this and this and this and this and this. For example, you mark the times of the 5 daily prayers. You give them a different highlight, the different color. You mark the days of fasting, like Mondays and Thursdays, as the Prophet ﷺ did. You can mark days, and this helps you. Every day in the morning, you come and open it up, right? So these are some of the techniques that, because Islam in itself helps you to achieve, to be consistent. The timely prayers that are done on a specific times, every day 5 times, and you practice them, it becomes part of you. It even goes to your DNA. It becomes part of you. You cannot isolate. And the same thing applies to the fasting and applies to the other issues that a Muslim does on daily basis as obligation. These techniques can be further developed into more practical things in your corporation that makes your corporation different from my corporation. For example, in your corporation, you have all the people are new to the corporation, so you need to add to them some sort of daily workshops on specific topics that are different from the topics that I am focusing on. It's something that can lead us, just if we spend some time on it, and inshallah we'll make some research and we can develop these things into more practical things.
All right, Dr. Mamdouh, we've reached the end of this chapter of consistency and constancy. It was an interesting one, and inshallah we're looking forward to learning more about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam leadership in history and that we live in today. Our dear audience, that was the last part of this chapter. And we are still continuing in the next episodes and going deeper and learning more about the life of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. We'll see you very soon and stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you're Allah's chosen one. The chosen one to spread the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The chosen one, though the road is long, just know Allah won't let you lose your way. You are the mercy for mankind. You are the teacher for this life. Allah has blessed you with the Quran. Rasul Muhammad, oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you're Allah's chosen one.